When you hear that a fighter like Tawanchai has a favorite technique, you should right away be going, what is it? How is he doing it? And try to bring it into your own game. That is what we're talking about today. Tawanchai is one of Thailand's best fighters at the moment. He has been for a while, but since his rise through 1FC, he's just been on this rampage, taking out so many fantastic fighters. And we're taking a closer look at him today because this weekend he is fighting at 1FC in Japan. He is facing Masaki Noiri, who is a very, very dangerous fighter, former K1 champion, glory runner-up in an 8-man tournament I was in. And even though I would say Tawanchai has the advantage in many aspects, we have to keep in mind it is going to be under kickboxing rules, which favors Masaki Noiri. It is going to be in Japan, which again favors Masaki Noiri. So this will be a very interesting bout. But Tawanchai, I want to take a look at a technique that he utilizes, which is very, I'm going to say, unorthodox or irregular for a Muay Thai fighter. Before we get to that, guys, if you're appreciating the episodes I'm bringing you, please give the video a like, just give it that little bump in the algorithm, and if you're not already, get subscribed. It's free to do so. So let's talk about what Tawanchai is doing. Now, most Muay Thai fighters, when they go to throw their round kicks, they are crashing in. They're taking that back shoulder, if they're throwing off the rear leg, they're taking that back shoulder and they're thrusting it forward to gain maximum power. This means because this arm is totally in front and it's whipped down, there is no good punch to follow up with until you hit the floor, you reset back to your stance, and then you can fire down the middle. But Tawanchai is throwing his kick and then throwing his cross all at once, all before this foot regains connection with the floor. Now we're going to break down exactly what he's doing, but more or less what we're looking at is something like that. Now, similar in some ways to a Superman punch, because at the end I am going to have that leg off the floor and I'm going to have my punch going out. And that does happen in a Superman, but our leg is not going to be out behind us. And we have to make sure that we don't throw our round kick the classic way, where we whip the arm down. You're going to keep this arm up and you're going to make sure that the shoulder is not rotating all the way forward, because we don't want to be here going like this. We want to throw the round kick and have some rotation left at the end. Now, depending on how much damage you want to do here, you can actually decide, am I going to commit right through and bring the shoulder all the way in the lead, or am I going to pull it back just a little bit so I can really unwind? Now, I want to take a second to note that his kicking leg is not touching down as he throws his punch. It's actually still in the air, and then his foot reconnects. Now, why is this such a difficult shot to block? If I see a southpaw round kick coming, usually I am going to be either trying to trap it, but if I trap it and he's already pulling out and hitting me in the face, that's not going to work very well. And if I'm doing a kickboxing cross block, now I have to get my hand back to my face in order to parry with this hand. So once I block and this punch is hitting me, even if I start to shift back here, most likely this is going to bounce off my own head. It's going to be very difficult because of the time that is so small, boom, boom, between the two shots, and the fact that we're switching heights and switching angles. One kick coming from the side, one punch coming down the middle. Very, very difficult. The hardest part of executing this, though, is going to be making sure you have the right distance. Because if you're too far away and you're landing more with your foot, you're probably going to feel like, oh, I can't connect properly. But if for some reason you start to get a little bit too tight, you're going to feel very jammed. So I think most important thing on this is distance and picking the appropriate height to throw it at. Of course, you could do it down to the leg with the kick, but I don't think that's going to work very well. And up to the head is going to be throwing you a little bit more off balance. So finding that nice sweet spot right around upper rib cage level, I think is going to work the best. And it's the way that we see Tawanchai do it again and again. in these fight clips. So we set up, maybe we throw a jab first, we get them thinking about that round kick. This is all very Thai style, right? Distance, distance, power, and then 1, 2, 3. Tawanchai, I'm going to be checking out for this technique in his upcoming bout against Noiri and see if this is something that he can pull off. Super exciting contest and one that I hope you're able to watch this weekend. Along with that, we have Takaru facing Rod Tang and just a whole selection of fantastic fights, many that have Japanese fighters in them, and Japanese fighters always put on an amazing battle in the ring. Technical, but always warriors. That's why I'm super excited to watch it myself. Anyway, play around with that technique, see if it works for you. You can add that into your shadow boxing if you want to just start off light and moving around, just bum bum, just like that. Bum bum. And the pivot on the standing leg doesn't need to rotate as far as normal, a little bit less. Little pivot instead of a big pivot, but still make sure you are pivoting. Get that little pivot and then into that elevated cross, I suppose we'll call it. I'll see you guys back here very soon.